MiniWarGaming's Beat the Cooler Bat Rep!
So here we are, turn 2. The Riptide once again activating his reactor. It works fine. Over here, guiding the Skyray once more, getting its missiles all twin-linked effectively, along with its marker lights, because Guide's amazing. And yeah, Dire Avengers, Dire Avengers, Fire Warriors, Dire Avengers, Fire Warriors, Dire Avengers. Dire Avengers move up, and they take cover. And then we've got the Banshees moving out, because I'm like, alright, this is the dedicated close combat unit of Eldar. I mean, how bad could they do, right? Right? Anyway, you'll see how that goes. The Devilfish moves over. Eldrad jumps down a floor. Gets himself in a different position. Just a little bit more cover / get it ready to start moving over towards my guys. Marker lights firing on the Great Unclean One. I get 2 hits. And because they are networked marker lights, the vehicle that shot them, or the model that shot them, can use them itself. So the Skyray is going to use its own marker lights to ignore his cover. Then it's going to fire all 6 of its Seeker missiles, re-rolling to hit, so every one of them hits. And they all wound on 3s. And so I do 4 wounds to him. So he's got a 5 up, he makes 1, and then he's got Feel No Pain, which he makes 2 of those. So he only loses 1 wound. So now my battle suits do the same thing as they did before. Squad leader, the commander opting out to shoot once again, so they fire their missiles, which all hit, and then 2 plasmas, which miss, but they re-roll, so they get 1 more plasma. 4s to wound on the missiles, 1 wound, 5 to wound on the plasma, 1 more wound. Here we go, he's got 2 wounds, 2 left. Fails his invuln. Does he have Feel No Pain? He does not, and that is the end of the demon. There goes his warlord. Here goes Riptide shooting at the obliterators. Gets a hit. Missiles. Twin linked, hitting on 4s, of course, because the Riptide's not that accurate. Wounding on 3s, wounding on 2s, and there we go. A bunch of saves, a bunch of wounds. He's got 1 4+, and then 1 2+, or 2 2+, sorry. And there, he failed 1, 1 guy dies. Here we go, Eldritch Storm. Goes off. Do I get my point back? I do. My Farseer gains his warp charge once again, and he does not stop this spell from going off. So there you go. Big 5-inch template of Eldritch Storm goodness. Bam. 4 wounds, and against the critter there, it's Armor Bane. Or not Armor Bane, sorry. It's Haywire against the Soul Grinder. That's what they're called. But he only fails 1 save thanks to cover, and he even makes the demons 5-up invuln. Here goes my Dire Avengers taking pot shots into that unit, and they fire horribly, and out of their many shots, I only hit 3 times and wound once, which he then takes his 4-up cover save and fails it. So we do kill 1, which was nice, but I mean, really, that was pretty bad. Then they run, because they can move, shoot, and then run, or move, run, and then shoot, thanks to the battle-hardened special rule. So my Dire Avengers back up a little bit. Here goes some smart missiles out of my Devilfish, which it actually looks like we might have messed up on the to hit there. But then I roll to wound, and I need 3s to wound. 2s to wound. Apparently they're only toughness 3. And he makes 2 of them. Or he fails 2 of them, rather. But they're fearless, so it doesn't even matter for him. Now charging in, or rather shooting at them with my Fire Warriors, who actually do a wound, snap firing. But yeah, that's all they really got. Them and the Banshees now, they fired. Now the Fire Warriors are going to shoot. Fire Warriors do nothing, but then the Banshees charge in, and the Banshees do make their charge, obviously. So they move right in there and hang out in base to base with that guy. Now I had to do a fear check, which I do pass, and now I do get to attack first. So these are the regular Banshees. And they hit 3 times, and now they need 6s to wound. And the Exarch, she hits 2 times, and she needs 3s to wound. No. Yep, no wounds with her. And 5s, they do 1 wound with the regular Banshees, and he has a 3+ save, which he makes. A 3+ invuln, mind you. And now he gets to attack back. And he kills them all. And that's it for the Banshees. So they got wiped out because he was hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, and I had no save against his attacks. And then they get to move 4 inches. And he just ignores the Fire Warriors because they're Fire Warriors and just rides away. Do the Obliterators break? They did break. So So they run 2d6, a hole 2 inches, and they basically just hang out up there. Didn't really bother because they are leadership 8, so it's all likelihood they're going to rally. The the Riptide then moves forward. The Obliterators then rally, and they come creeping back up across their little wall there, but of course they'll only be snap firing this turn. We remember that they have reserves, and he does actually get his little horrors in, and they do scatter 6 inches, ending up just in front of that wall, but the horrors, I have a lot of trouble saying that word, and I don't know why. They all show up though. Then the Steeds of Slaanesh, they come flying across the board, because they can run really fast because they're basically beasts, or they're cavalry rather, and they're all fine there. Then he moves through difficult terrain with his Soul Grinder, which walks over the wall. And that's what happens when you fall asleep in the back of a battle report. Anyway, then he moves up with his regular infantry here. They come walking across the barrier, and what he actually does is has his biker leave the unit and then rejoin them at the end of their movement. So I guess technically you would have to do these at 2 different times, but apparently it's allowed. I didn't double check the rules, but he had said he had an opponent do it against him at one of the recent tournaments he was at, so I allowed it. I mean, it didn't make any difference. In either way, he's going to make what he wants to do, so just so you know, leave a comment below if you agree or disagree, and of course if you have either of those opinions, then leave a link or leave a page number so we can verify it in the rules. That would be great. And here come the other herd of Blood Crushers walking in. So at least they're only toughness 5, so the Dread Knight, man, I am all over the place with names today. The Riptide can actually kill them, but he does hit me with one of his snap firing plasmas, and I fail my 3-up, and I fail my feel no pain. So I'm down to 4 wounds. Not a good sign when you're about to get swarmed. We did once again forget the lightning coming down from the sky. And so first he does a bunch of his shooting from his unit of cultists. Man, seriously, all over the place with names today. Anyway, he gets like 5 wounds on me, and I have a 2-up save though, because I am a giant monster. And I save them all. Now he fires all of his little horrors against well, he was going to shoot them all against Eldrad, then he changed his mind and fired his Soul Grinder against my tank, which didn't work. Now he fires the quad gun against Eldrad, which rerolls to hit, and they're Ballistic Seal 5, because Khorne knows how to shoot somehow. And Eldrad fails another save, and he's down to 1 wound now, and he decides, he goes for it with all of the pink horrors. They do pass their psychic check. I get a 4+ Deny the Witch, which I promptly fail, so he gets 3d6 shots. And he got 7, and then forced a hit, and he only hit with 1, which does a wound. And then he gets 2d6 automatic hits, so 9. And then these ones he just needs to roll to wound with. And here we go, forced to wound. He does another 3 wounds, so 4 3-up saves altogether. Here we go. And I fail by 1. And that's right there. That is the end of Eldrad. He dies. He then charges with his Soul Grinder into my Devilfish, which easily makes the charge. He could have re-rolled it, but he does. So he then charges into my Dire Avengers with his Slaaneshi Cavalry, who make their save, and they do make the charge. Bam. So they're in. Now it's right about here that we remember that he should have rolled for the Storm. And so he charges in with everything. They charge in against the Riptide. I do Overwatch because might as well. I get 1 hit with my Smart Missiles or my Missile Pods. I do 1 wound on the Biker. Looks out, sir. And so just a regular guy dies. And then he makes his charge. Here we go. Boop. And then the rest of these guys all move up just to get a little bit closer. Now, of course, they do have frag grenades thanks to the Space Marine on the Biker there, or the bike. He has frag grenades. and it just states a unit with frag grenades gets the benefit of them, even though they don't all individually have them, but it doesn't matter. The Riptide's only initiative 2 anyway. And here comes the Blood Crushers from the other side, trying to smash him in the front as well. Basically everyone against him. But now we remember the Warp Storm, and essentially D6 hits on units as it comes raining down here. Dire Avengers here. It does hit the Dire Avengers that were attacked by the Slanesh. He gets 6, and then 2s to wound, I believe. 4 wounds. But it turns out it's poison, so he re-rolls it, and he wounds all 5. And here we go. 4+ save. Oh, it's AP 4. Never mind. That is the end of that unit. So all the Dire Avengers actually died. Now technically this was in the shooting phase, so it shouldn't have actually happened. So we just agreed that instead of going for them, he would have joined the assault against the Riptide, and so he brings his cavalry over there. Continues rolling the D6 explosions, and does not affect them. Now on the tank, nope, and on the Fire Warriors in the corner, they're okay. There we go. So here we go, they're wiped out. Now we're in the close combat here. We've got the Soul Grinder against the tank. 4 hits, auto pen, and what does the explosion do? It explodes. There are 6 guys in there. They can't even... The explosion doesn't hurt the giant walking monster, of course, even because it has an armor value for some reason. And I fail 3 of my saves, so only 3 Fire Warriors survive to scramble out of that tank. And there they are. And they're now testing for pinning, which they're not pinned, so that's good at least. Here we go, Riptide versus everything else. So first thing, we've got the impact hits, or rather we've got the Hammer of Wrath, which does 2 wounds. And then the other Hammer of Wraths, these are from the Slanesh girls, and they do 1 more wound on their half too. And I fail 1 save, and I fail my Feel No Pain. So once again, I lose another wound, and I'm down to 3 now. There we go. Here we go, Jack. You gotta kill everything. So the Slanesh attack with their first wave of attacks. They roll pretty bad. They roll even worse, and they don't do any wounds. Here comes the Chaos Lord on the bike with the weapon, and he hits D6 extra attacks. Hits with 5. Wounds twice. Here we go. And apparently it ignores armor, so I only had my invuln. So I roll my Feel No Pain, which I failed at as well. So now I have 2 wounds left. Now he attacks with all of his little cultists. They're hitting on 3s because I'm only weapon skill 2. Wounding on 6s, and they actually get more wounds than the Daemonettes did. But I do pass all of these saves. And now here come the Blood Crushers. They also get to attack, or rather I get to attack them now. And I miss. So he attacks back, does a whole bunch of wounds. I'm on a 3+ now. I fail 1. Feel No Pain, and I fail at 2. Haven't made a single Feel No Pain yet this game. Kind of a bummer. Leadership 6, and I pass. My turn. I turn on my reactor so I can have a 3-up invuln. These Fire Warriors stumble out of the terrain, or rather the Dire Avengers stumble out first, and then from there they climb out, and now here comes the Fire Warriors climbing out of their terrain because they do have EMP grenades. I figured I would try something different, but doesn't look like it's going well for them anyway. And then the battle suits in the middle can finally move, and they don't have to worry about, but unfortunately we can't get close enough for the commander's Melta to get into range. So we might get 1 pot shot, but might not be enough. These Fire Warriors, they can actually hustle pretty well, even though they're way far out of the game, and they can't shoot into the close combat that everything is tied up in. And here we go, Marker Lights against the Soul Grinder. I do get 1 Marker Light against it, just to put a little dice over there to keep track. I use that dice to buff the Blizzard skill of my battle suits, because they might actually be able to hurt it. And get 1 hit with the Melta and his missile. Or rather, his Melta and 1 hit from his plasma. So here comes the missile pods. They actually get a few hits, and seeing as the Melta needs a 5, does not get it, and the missiles need 6s. They get 1. He's Daemon, so 5 up, and he makes it. So no damage done. Here we go, Dire Avengers shooting into the horrors, the pink horrors, and they need 3s to hit, and they miss more than half of their shots, because that's how Dire Avengers apparently are for me today. And they get 3 wounds. Here we go. 5+, re-rolling 1s. 1 dies. Boop. And that's it for him. Here we go, the other fire warriors shooting into the obliterators because they just barely are in rapid fire, or at least they almost were in rapid fire. Hitting 3 times, wounding on 3s, they do 2 wounds, or wounding on 4s because he was Slanesh, or Nurgle rather. And then he goes down to 1 wound. So good job, fire warriors, you did something. The other fire warriors charge into the soul grinder because they're insane like that, and they don't get killed by his overwatch. And then the dire avengers run because I forgot to run them, and they hang out behind there. So here we go, soul grinder versus fire warriors. Soul grinder attacks, hits twice, wounds on 2s, kills 2 of them. So we have 1 fire warrior. If there's 1 EMP grenade, he needs a 4 to hit. And then he needs a 6 really, but he gets a glance. But he is a Daemon, so he actually fails it, but I still lose combat, I fail my leadership, and I get run down by a Daemon. There it is. So that is the end of that fire warrior squad. They are wiped out, and that's it for him. And he only moves 1 inch though with his consolidation. The close combat begins between the Riptide and everything else. The Slanesh go first once again, hitting on 3s, wounding on 6s, because it is toughness 6, so it's rather hard to kill, but that being said, you've got lots of attacks. Here we go, 3 2-up saves, or 3 invulns rather, and I fail it. So that's it. That is the end of the Riptide. He goes down. And what happens with the Storm? So here we are at the end of the game, because, I'm going to shake your hand there, I'm going to concede at this point with my 4 fire warriors who have to deal with this, and my 3 battle suits who have to deal with that, and that's all I had really on this Skyray. So here we are at the end, because he's going to pick that up with that big unit of dudes, and I can't kill them all. So yeah, stay tuned, MiniWarGamers. We're going to have more Warhammer 40k and Fantasy and War Machine battle reports. Leave a comment below if we missed anything, made any rules mistakes, because we just want to learn how to do it right next time. Happy wargaming.